salt solutions into 4 beakers. He then adds an iron nail to each beaker. If you look here for the beakers, we have 4, okay? We have iron nail, that's in all of them, but the solutions are different. Here we have the copper sulfate solution, potassium nitrate solution, lead nitrate solution, silver nitrate solution. After 10 minutes, Yusuf records his observations. Here, the metal salt solution and the observation. With the first salt solution, the copper sulfate, iron nail covered in a pink solid. Okay. Now, with the potassium nitrate, the observation is no reaction at all. Lead nitrate, the observation, iron nail covered with a black solid. Silver nitrate, the observation, iron nail covered with a black solid. Now number A, which variable does Yusuf change in this investigation? First of all, I would like to talk about the variables. They are very important, okay? We have actually 3 types of variables. We have the independent variable. Those are the variables that we change by our hands. Number 2, we have the dependent variables. Those are the variables that are measured during the experiments. Number 3, we have the control variables. All of the controlled variables are anything in the experiment that should be kept constant during the experiment, not to affect the results. Actually, we are investigating the independent and the dependent variables, those only. So anything else should be maintained constant or kept constant. So here, which variable does Yusuf change in his investigation? Of course, he did change the metal salt solution. Okay, this is the changing one, or the independent variable. Write down one variable Yusuf needs to control. Any of the controlled variables will be okay. For example, if we look here, okay, if you say that the volume, yeah, it's okay. If you say amount of solution, yeah, it's okay. It should be kept constant because it's a controlled variable. If you say size of the nail, also the same. If you say time nail left or the time intervals, it will be also okay. If you say temperature, very okay. If you say concentration of the solution, also should be maintained constant in order not to affect, okay, the results. If we are back to the questions, we have number C. Yusuf sets up another beaker. This time he puts the nail in sodium chloride solution. There is no reaction. Explain why the nail in this beaker does not react. Okay, if we are back to the reactivity series, and all of you have to keep it by mind, not only for the checkpoint, because also it will be in the end of your exam. But the reactivity series tells you that the sodium comes prior to iron, before iron. So it's more reactive than iron. So it will not displace it in its solution. The iron will not displace the sodium. You got it? If you say sodium is more reactive than iron, it will be okay. If you say sodium is higher up in the reactivity series, also will be considered accepted valid marking points. Okay. Okay. Now, question number 8. Carol's learn about the law of reflection in a lesson. He draws a diagram. Label his diagram. Use the following words. We have angle of incidence, angle of reflection, incident ray, mirror, normal, and reflected ray. Of course, if we look here to find out together that, first of all, we have the mirror, which is the reflecting surface, and we have an incident light ray. When it strikes to the mirror, okay, it will strike by an angle of incidence that is built on the normal, which is perpendicular to the surface. And when it will be bounced back, the ray will be known as reflected ray, okay? and the angle between the reflected light ray and the normal is known as angle of reflection. Let's back. Here, question number 9. This question is about the 3 states of matter. A, which state of matter has the strongest forces between its particles? Okay, doubtless it's the solid state of matter. B, draw straight lines to match the states of matter with the description of the spacing of the particles. Okay, first of all, we have the gas. Of course, gas spread far apart. If you look here together in the answer, gas spread far apart. Liquid, they are closely packed but not in a pattern. Okay, while the solid are closely packed in a regular pattern. Okay, back to our question. Number C, Yusuf puts a small amount of water into a flat dish. He then leaves the dish outside in the warm sunshine. After a while, the water disappears. Explain what happens to the water particles. Okay, very logically that the water particles gain heat energy or kinetic energy or internal energy, then the particles will move faster, then they will evaporate, leaving the surface. In the answers, if you are right, any of those answers, any 2 of those answers, you will be graded for the 2 points. Particles gain energy. Some particles have more kinetic energy. Okay, some particles gonna be move faster. Okay, also particles have overcome attraction between them due to the kinetic energy or the heat energy given to them. Okay, or any idea about the forces that in between the particles that have been broken due to the excess amount of heat energy given to them. Also, particles have spread farther apart. Okay, it will be formed or converted into a gaseous state. All of those are accepted valid marking points. Here, question number 10. Look at the diagram. It shows some of the elements in the periodic table. Use this periodic table to answer this question. A, write down the chemical symbol of the most reactive element in group A. Of course, we know that the groups are the columns, while the periods are the rows. Group number A, this is group number A. The reactivity, of course, group number A is known as the alkali metals, okay? And the activity increases as we go down the group. So the most reactive element in this group is potassium, which symboled by the letter K. Number B, an atom of an element has only 1 proton inside its nucleus. Write down the chemical symbol for this element. Of course, it's hydrogen, okay? Because actually it's named hydrogen proton. C, write down the chemical symbol of the element in group 7, okay, group 17, and period 3, okay, period 3, so 1, 2, 3, this is period number 1, 2, 3, and group number 17, this is chloride, or actually this is chlorine as an element. In an element form, it's chlorine. Number D, write down the name of the element in the same group as boron. This is the boron, okay? The element in the same group, so it's a column. After the boron, we have aluminum. Its symbol is A. Let's check out the answers together. This is K, H, Cl or chlorine, and aluminum. Okay. Okay. Now, let's go for question number 11. Priya and Lily investigate friction. Here is the equipment they use. They have a table and material, okay, wooden block and masses, and they have a force meter that measure the force, and this is a pull. They can pull towards this direction. They put the wooden block with a force meter. They repeat the investigation using different materials. A, Priya says, we must be careful because we are using heavy masses. Lily says we must make this investigation safe. Describe 2 things they can do in order to reduce the risk of hurting themselves or even others. And you're going to be graded by or out of 2. So you have to mention accepted 2 valid marking points. If you go to the mark scheme here, it's written that any one of those will be accepted. So I'm gonna telling you that any logic, consistent, relevant answer will be okay. This is, or this type of question is known as an open-ended question. Any one of the responses or attempts that you will provide will be accepted as long as they are logic, they are relevant, they are consistent answers. So any of 2 answers gonna be okay. If you say eye protection or safety glasses or even eye goggles, okay. Use smaller masses also will be okay. If you are also saying stand away from the table, stand away from the masses, or do the experiment on the floor, or even wear a safety shoes, okay. Attach the masses to the wooden block. Make sure the force meter is firmly attached. All of those are accepted, okay. Okay, point number B. Here are the results. Material A has reading of 2.4 Newton, 1.7 is the reading from material B, C is 3.2 Newton, 0.7 belongs to the material D. Just the same thing is going to be added here in order to come up with a table in this form. Material, here you have to write the word material, and A, B, C, D, and the readings from the diagram. It's very simple and easy. Okay, number C. Describe how they can make the results more reliable. Okay, here is a very important word. Reliability, okay, is a very important factor in the experiment that should be maintained. So, one of the most accepted, okay, answers in the reliability, you can just add only one word, which is repeats, repetition of the experiment. So repeat the measurements or take more measurements. Both of them are accepted. Also, you may say double check the results. Also, you may say use a wider range of masses, use different masses, okay? But if you say use more accurate devices, it will not be an accepted valid marking point, okay? Because you did not answer the question, because your answer is not related to the question stem. Also, if you say get more accurate data, but you did not provide how they can do this, it will be an ignored answer. If you say use more different materials, so also your answer now is not related to the question stem, so it will be ignored. Okay. So this is the end of the paper number 1. Now we will move to paper number 2. Okay. If you have any question related to question number or to paper number 1, I'll open the discussion after finishing marking paper number 2. Now we are solving together paper number 2, checkpoint science, April 2017. Time allowed is 45 minutes. You will be graded out of 50. Also some instructions, okay? It's very important to mention them. The additional materials that you only have are pen, pencil, ruler, and calculator. Also, you have to write, okay, the center number. I know that you know how to do this, and you did it today and yesterday. Write in the dark blue or black pen. Both of them are accepted. The pencils have to be HP, not more than this. Do not use tables, okay, paper clip, okay, glue or correction fluids are not, okay, able to be used. Do not write at any barcodes. This is the barcode, okay. You should not write on it because it's very unique for every single student, okay. So you are now omitting or even removing the indicator for your paper. You have to answer all of the questions, okay. All of your answers have to be in the booklet, okay. Also, you have to be complying to the marks that are in brackets. For example, if a question out of 3, never ever write only one answer. Never ever write only one answer. At least write more than three. I'll not write three, write more than three, because maybe some of your answers are not accepted. So let's say it's out of two. So try maximum, okay, or as much as you can to write four, because maybe one or two from your answers are not accepted. Try your best, okay. Also, one very important point, okay, is to write only on the provided space. Do not write on the here, okay, or here, because when the paper is scanned, it may not be appear. So let's go for the question number 1. Complete the sentence. Choose from the list. You have 4 words and you have to choose in one of them. An iron nail is attracted to what of a magnet? Both, neither, or only the North, or only the South Pole? Huh. Actually, an iron nail attracted to? Huh. Of course, it's neither pole. Okay. Also here, iron nail attracted to both, the South Pole and the North Pole. I'm sorry. Okay, because it's not a magnet, it's just an iron. So any one of the poles can attract it, even the North or the South. Okay. Here, number 2. The question is about sound. Tick. Write the correct sentence about the pitch of sound. Okay. Each one of them is accepted. A high-pitched sound is always loud. A high-pitched sound always has a high frequency. A high-pitched sound always has a large amplitude. A high-pitched sound always has a low frequency. A high-pitched sound must have a large wavelength. Okay. You tell me the answer. Yes, answer is a high-pitched sound always has a high frequency. That's why it's strong and a high-pitched sound. Question number 2. Scientists classify arthropods into 4 main groups, depending on their numbers of legs. The diagram shows examples of 3 of these groups. Draw straight lines to match each of the arthropods to its group. Okay. Actually, I advise you to read chapter number 6. I will make a revision about this chapter by the end of the session, okay, because mostly they come, and especially the classification or the keys, okay, how to find out the animals and relate every one of them to each species. It's very important and always come. Also, I will provide some time by the end of the session to study together the pivot, okay, turning on a pivot, or the levers, because they are important and always come in exams also. I know that they did not being taught in this school and there's no time in order to do this, but I will do this myself by the end of the session. So we have arthropods, and on the right hand side we have the group. Number 1, we have 3 pairs of legs. Of course, this is insects. 5 pairs of legs, they are crustaceans, okay. And we have 4 pairs of legs. This is the arachnids, okay. And here is the answer. 3 pairs, insect. 5 are crustaceans. 4 pairs of legs are arachnids. Again, okay. Point number B. All arthropods have jointed legs. Okay, there's a message from one of you. Voice is too low. I think maybe I little bit tired, but I will try to do my best. I hope it's better now. Okay. Great. Now let's back. Number B, all arthropods have jointed legs. Describe 2 other characteristics that would identify an arthropod. As I told you, you have to read chapter number 6. Okay? I think it will not take more than 20 to 30 minutes maximum, but it's important to read it because it mostly comes in the exams. Okay? This is also I have another message from one of you. Okay, great. Sound is okay now. If you mention any of those 2 characteristics, will be okay. All have an exoskeleton, will be okay. If you say do not have a backbone because they are invertebrates, and all have segmented bodies, also will be okay. Okay, bodies in section also will be okay. If you say bilateral symmetry, will be okay. But if you say half shell, it will be ignored, because what is being covered by the bodies, it's not a shell. It's exoskeleton made of chitin, while the shell that is found in the snails and those issues is being made up of calcium carbonate. Back to questions. We have question number 4. Here are some chemical formulas: Al, CaO, Cl2, CO2, KNO3, MgCO3, and NaCl, B2O4O5. Choose the formulas from the list. Okay, each formula can be used once, more than once, or not at all. I. Write down the formulas of 2 elements. Of course, elements here are only aluminum and Cl2. No, it's not Cl2. What else? Aluminum. Okay, let's check together. Yeah, aluminum and Cl2. It's an element. Okay. Number double I. Write down the formulas of all compounds containing carbon. Carbon here is found in CaO, calcium oxide, and CO2, carbon dioxide, and in the magnesium carbonate, MgCO3. Only those. Let's check the answers. Yeah, CO2, MgCO3. Okay. Now, triple I. Write down 2 formulas that shows compounds made from 3 elements. 3 elements. 3 elements such like, this is 2 elements. KNO3, it's made up of 3 elements, because K potassium and nitrogen, O is oxygen. Also MgCO3, because we have Mg, magnesium, C, carbon, O, which is the oxygen. KNO3 and MgCO3. Right. Okay. Here, write down, I'm sorry, IV. Fertilizers are often compounds of potassium. Write down the formula for a fertilizer that is a compound of potassium. Of course, the compound of potassium here is KNO3. KNO3. Okay. One second. I'll just save the previous session in order to be able to be uploaded. Okay, it's done. Okay, back to our exam. Last question, or number B, write down the name of the compound with the formula CaO. Of course, it's calcium oxide. It's calcium oxide. Okay, now let's go to the next question. Question number 5. Energy is always conserved. Complete the energy diagram to show that energy is conserved. Number A, okay, it's out of 1. Here we have 200, okay, 80 is being for the light energy and the remaining for the thermal. How can we obtain this? We will subtract 200 minus 80 will be 120. This is the answer. It will be 120. And number B. Here, the electrical energy will be the submission of 60, or the summation of 60 plus 40. So it will be 100 joule. Okay, it will be 100 joule. Okay. Now, question number 6. The world human population needs increasing amounts of energy. A large amount of energy is obtained by burning fuels. A. Look at the list. Circle the fuel that is a renewable resource or a renewable source of energy. We have biomass, coal, gasoline or petrol, and natural gas. B. Of course, what is the the renewable source of the energy? Of course, is the Coal will not, gasoline will not, natural gas will not. It's the biomass. If you look here, it's the biomass, the only accepted answer. B, burning these fuels releases carbon dioxide into the environment. Describe some harmful effects of increasing levels of carbon dioxide on the planet Earth. We know that carbon dioxide is good, but in its normal values or ratios, which is 0.04, in order to make the planet habitable and to make it easier for the plants to perform the photosynthesis. But what are the consequences of increasing the levels of carbon dioxide? Number one, carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. Carbon dioxide traps heat energy. When the energy increases, the north or the temperature of the planet will be increases, and as a consequence will be a dramatic or catastrophic, consequences, such like floods, such like the melting of the north and south poles, will be a lot of climate change, global warming, and all of those answers will be accepted. Anything of those will be okay. Global warming, greenhouse effect, climate change, floods, droughts. Of course, floods in some places and droughts in another. Crop failure, which will be led to the famine. Desertification. Of course, the sea level will be rise in order to the melting of the ice caps found in the North and South Pole. Number I. Suggest which of these fuels would be the best to burn if we must continue to burn fuel. Coal, gasoline, petrol, hydrogen, wood. Explain your answer. The fuel is and the explanation. From my point of view, I see that hydrogen. Why? Because it's less polluted than others. It's hydrocarbon. Yeah, here he mentioned wood, as a first response, and the explanation in this case can be grown again as a renewable resource, or recycling the carbon, or no increase in the atmospheric carbon dioxide levels. And also the hydrogen. Why? Because burns to form water doesn't produce any carbon dioxide, and also it's a renewable resource. So both hydrogen or wood will be okay for this question. Question number 7. Look at the table of the elements in group 7, group 17, of the modern periodic table. Element, atomic mass, state at room temperature, melting point in Celsius, boiling point in Celsius. Complete the sentence about the relationship between atomic mass and melting point. As the atomic mass, what? The melting point, what? You have to mention here. Atomic and the melting. Atomic mass increases and the melting point also increases. So when the increases, it also increases. Let's check the answers. Yeah, increase, 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 increase. Number B, what is the state of fluorine at room temperature? Fluorine, of course, they are halogens. All of them are, decrease also. They are gases at room temperature. All of them are gases at room temperature. Number C, estimate the boiling point of chlorine. Choose from the list. If we relay here the points, the boiling point of chlorine is not mentioned, but it should be relatively low. The boiling point should be relatively low. So here he mentioned that minus 34, or even accept any indications for correct answer. For example, if you cycling or underlining the answer, but not answer the line, it's also gonna be taken. If you even mention the percentage, also will be considered as an accepted valid marking points. Yeah, he gave it to you already. Of course, minus 34. Why? Because it's in between minus 188, which is fluorine. So it will not be for at all minus 201. Because it's less than this number. And of course, will not be 65 or 138 because those are more than the boiling point of bromine, which is below, after the chlorine in the group. So it's in between both of them, and the accepted valid marking point or the accepted answer is minus 34 degrees Celsius. If we go for question number 8, Jamila uses the internet. She finds some information about adding color light together. We have here the main colors. We have yellow, so red. Oh, there's another main color actually. This is the red, and this is magenta, cyan, and yellow. The question is, write the correct colors of light in the 3 boxes of the diagram. Okay, there is, okay, there is just a message from one of you. The answer of 7B. I illustrated this one. Oh yeah, 7B. What is the state of fluorine at room temperature? It's a gas, man. It's a gas. Okay, it's a gas. Okay. So, question number 8. Color is gonna be the combination or between the yellow and, of course, the main colors are red, blue. Okay, and supposed to be here the green. Those are the main colors. I call the primary colors. The primary colors. We have with our RGB. It's easier to be even understood and even to be memorized. RGB, red, green, blue, and the combination of them all is the white. It's a very easy question. It's a very easy question. The main colors are RGB or red, green, blue, and the combination of them all is white, and red with blue, magenta, red with green, yellow, green with blue, cyan, and all of those yellow, magenta, cyan are the secondary colors that are made up due to the combination of the primary colors. Okay. Question number 9. The scientist Copernicus was born in 1473. At this time, people thought that the Earth was the center of the universe. What did Copernicus think was the center of the universe? Very simple. Copernicus said that the sun is the center of the universe. Okay? Yes, the sun. And it's nice to mention that Copernicus, as a scientist, was the first one that said this. And the people were against him, and they took him and even the books and burned Copernicus with his own books because he mentioned that the Earth is not the center of the universe. And of course, Copernicus was the teacher of Galileo, but he was very solid and strong, and he mentioned clearly that it's not the Earth the center of the universe, but the monks in the church took him and burned him with his books. Okay, while Galileo was there, he tried to advise his teacher not to do this, but his teacher, or Copernicus, was very solid and he was insisting on his idea. But actually, eventually, they burned him with his own books. But Galileo tried to keep himself safe in order to convey the science of Copernicus. And he said to them, yeah, okay, sun is not the center of the universe. Of course, they said this because there's a verse in the Bible said that the earth is the center of the universe. While in Quran, it's not mentioned like this. Actually, it's one of the main points that accepted or even providing and submitting the Islam as a religion because it's a religion of science. So I just want to draw your attention to this point. Point number 10. Okay. Pierre grows pepper plants to find the effect of fertilizers on the growth of these pepper plants. He sows 3 groups of 50 seeds. He places them in a glass house and waters 1 group with organic fertilizers, 1 with artificial fertilizer, and 1 with only distilled water. He measures the average height of the pepper plants every 4 weeks, which this is the time intervals. He counts how many peppers each group of plants have produced after 16 weeks. The table shows the results as it's mentioned here. AI, which variable does Pierre change in his investigation? Again, in the same exam, okay? This is, the one that it changed is the independent variable. The independent variable. The one that we change by our own. It's not depending on anything, okay? Of course, it's clearly, it's the fertilizer or the type of the fertilizer, okay? This is very important to know this. And you need it also next year in the chemistry, in the physics, and also in biology. The amount of fertilizers. This is the independent variable. Double I state two variables Pierre must control in his investigation. The same question in the same year, it's repeated question because he's asking here about the controlled variable. In the paper one, he also asked about the controlled variable. You can mention anything that should be kept constant. Number of seeds, number of plants, amount of fertilizers, time, temperature, lighting, light intensity, okay, soil. Also, it will be accepted if you mention volume of fertilizers, accepted if you say the same greenhouse, variety of peppers, have plants, okay, same distance apart, okay. If you say amount of water, it will be an ignored, okay, answer, will not be accepted. Here, there the student asked about the variables. Okay, I'm gonna send this again. The variables are classified into 3 types. Type number 1, independent variable. These independent variables are the variables that we change by our own, by our hands. In this example, the type of fertilizer. The type of fertilizer. So this is the independent variable. Type 2, the dependent variable. The one that we measure, the one that we expect it to change, okay? The one that it change depending on the independent variable. That's why it's known as dependent. In this case, we can measure, for example, the height of the pepper plant because this is a variable that it change according to the independent variable or the one that we change, or in this example, the type of the fertilizer. Anything else rather than independent and dependent are referred to as controlled variable, which is the type number 3. And all of those controlled variable should be kept constant. Why? Not to affect the experiment. Okay, so the controlled variable, as we mentioned. Number 3 suggests why Pierre waters one group of plants with distilled water. Yeah, this is a very good point. It's a control. Why even control? For better comparison. Okay, it's a control with nothing. In order even to, okay, it can be used as a control. Why we are using any controls? As a comparison. What is the meaning of control? Control is an experiment that has, or the lack of the independent variable. It doesn't have anything. It doesn't have anything. Why? In order to prove the importance of the variable itself, or the thing that we are studying, or the thing that we are measure. Okay, so if you mention it's can be used as a control, it will be accepted. For better comparison, also will be accepted. Okay, to see the effect of fertilizers also will be affected. All of those. Because effect of fertilizers is the independent variable. What calculations can be made about the effects of adding fertilizers on the height of pepper plants? Anything also here, it's open-ended question. You can say, for example, okay, fertilizers makes them grow taller. Okay, artificial fertilizer is the best because it's according to the table, it's much taller than others. Okay. Double I, the number of peppers the plants produced. Also, you can say here, the fertilizers increases number of peppers because they allow them to grow better. Okay, question number 11. Complete the table about the reactivity of metals. Sodium, okay, the metal, then the reaction with cold water, reaction with dilute hydrochloric acid. Sodium, reaction with cold water, it's very, very active. So it will react, okay? It will react and will be violent reaction and also will form hydrogen. It's very strong, okay? Here is the table. Violent reaction and also will form hydrogen, Okay. Here, he's talking about the calcium. One of you send me a message. He say that teacher in the fertilizer question, doesn't the artificial fertilizer have any side effects? He is not measuring here the side effects. It may be planned for another experiment, but here it's just measuring the effect of fertilizer. He has no connection here to this point. I'm with you, but it's here not mentioned this point, and he is not measuring it, so we will not look after this point. Calcium with the water, okay, there will be bubbles and gives hydrogen, okay. With acid, of course, rapid bubbles to form with hydrogen. Calcium is reactive. Iron, of course, with cold water, there's no reaction. With acid, a slow formation of hydrogen bubbles because it's relatively less reactive. Of course, copper, no reaction with cold water and no reaction with copper. And this is one of the most tricky questions and may come even in your exam, because if you look here, he may trick you because the copper is rarely react with even water or with even diluted hydrochloric acid. Of course, gold, no reaction. That's why the gold is the lowest reactive metal, okay, in the reactivity series. So reaction is no reaction in the water and no reaction with dilute hydrochloric acid. We have copper and then silver and then gold. The gold is the least reactive metal. Okay, question number 12. I think this question was being given to you last term. He's talking about the forces and here the pivot. Yeah, regarding the pivot, it's very important. It's not mentioned, and this is a good question to discuss this. One of you today asked me to illustrate it, and I will do it now. Question number 12. Plessy puts two books on the table A and table B. One is being flattened, as you see, which is book A, and one is perpendicular or on its side, which is book B. The books are the same size and the same masses. Okay. Yeah. I think one of you say area is pressure over mass. Yeah, that's right. You are right. Okay. Which book exert the greater pressure? Of course, the book number B. Why? Because the mass will be in a smaller area so that the pressure will be the greatest. Explain your answer. I did answer. Okay. If you even here mentioned book B, yeah, idea is a smaller area and it will be a bigger mass. I'm sorry, a bigger pressure. Back to our question. Here is a pivot. Here is a pivot. Mike is smaller than Oliver in the seesaw balance. This is very important things. By the way, we have here two forces and we have articulation called a pivot or fulcrum. The kinds of levers, you can even study them from the book. They are very easy. Okay, they are not taking a lot of time to be taught, but I'm talking here about the momentum or the moment. This is a very important and always repeating question in all of the cheekbone exams. When he mentioned that seesaw is balanced, so we have here force and here we have resistance. Okay, we will add the balance. I have to mention this again. Add the balance. Okay, I will write it in order to be notified because it's very important. Look here. Here. Look, always we have to know that the force add balance. Okay. Force, moment equal. Moment is equal on both sides. On both sides. So the moment in this case equals force. Okay, I can even do it to be like this. Moment equals. If you are talking about, for example, the moment of the force, or the left hand side of the pivot of the force, equals force times its arm times, it's very important if you write it, it's very important, its arm. What the meaning of its arm? This is the distance. Distance, okay? From the force to the pivot. From force to the pivot. Okay? And the moment of effort, or the left hand side, will be the effort times its arm. What is the meaning of its arm? This is the distance. By the same thing, distance. Distance from effort to pivot. Okay, this is very important. Okay, so at equilibrium, both moments are equal. Okay, of course, that regarding the units, if we are talking about the units, okay, you have to know that, okay, here, the effort should be in Newton, because it's a force, should be measured in Newton, and the N must be capitalized. N must be capitalized. If you wrote it in the lowercase, you will not grant a mark. It should be capitalized. And the arm should be even in meter or centimeter. Okay, but if it's a meter, try to convert it into centimeter. Okay, and you may write the moment as Newton per meter squared, or Newton per centimeter. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, listen, centimeter squared. Yes. So let's back. Okay. Now this is a question. Okay, he asking you. We have here 500 Newton and 2 meters pivot, 1 meter and 1000. Okay, explain why it's balanced using the principle of moment, as I told you. This is one of the most important questions. Okay, here's the answer. Say Mike's moment and Oliver's moment are equal. Must be stated this. Okay, have to be. You must mention this. How you know this? Look, if we do this even here, okay, look how it will be. I will do it my own, or even as annotation. It's no problem. Look here. For example, we can say, because it's balanced, so moments are the same. So we have to say 500 here times 2 should equal to, okay, 1 times 1000. 500 times 2, it's 1000. And 1 times 1000 is 1000. Okay, so I'll prove you very, okay, very fast. So, okay, back to our, I done with it. Okay, I'll clear this. Back. Okay. Also, if you say that Mike is half weight of Oliver, Oliver is twice the weight of Mike, will be also accepted. If you say Mike is twice as far from the pivot than Oliver, or Oliver a half distance from the pivot, it will be accepted. If I mention, which is, I prefer this mathematical things. If you said Mike's moment is 500 times 2 or 1000, and even Oliver's moment is 1000 times 1 or 1000, will be also accepted valid marking points. Okay. Question number 14. Maya investigates an endothermic reaction. Endo means to inside, therm means heat. Endotherm means the reaction that takes in heat. She added, okay, sodium carbonate to dilute ethanoic acid. A, the temperature of the dilute ethanoic acid at the start is 20 degrees Celsius. What will happen to the temperature when the sodium carbonate is added? Okay, of course, dilute hydrochloric acid or any acid with carbonate, the carbonate will dissociate. Okay, actually, it should be CO2 will give me sodium, okay, ethanol plus the carbonate will give you carbon dioxide plus water. Look here, the answer. Okay. Okay, where we are. What will happen to the temperature? Yeah, will be decreased. I didn't even look at this. Of course, will be decreased because it's endothermic. Why? Because it will take heat from the surrounding. So the heat of the surrounding will be decreased because some of this heat will be given to the reaction in order to be started. B, what sodium carbonate reacts with dilute ethanoic acid? Okay, which gas and liquid are made? Of course, the gas is carbon dioxide and the liquid is water because the carbonates, and also you can mention this or write this down because it's important to you. Okay, we have carbonate. Carbonate is CO3. It always gives you CO2 and there's a remaining O. This O always react with here with the acid in order to give you H2O. Okay. Okay. So now carbon dioxide plus water. Okay. I will just remove the annotation. Okay. Sorry. Back to our exam. Question number 15 is talking about the sound. The properties of sound can be explained using diagram. Okay. Here's the loudspeaker, and we have A, we have B. Those are dots or the particles actually of the matter or the medium, and here is the receptor or the ear. What do the dots represent? Circle the correct answer. Of course, air particles. Okay. C, complete the sentences. The particles in the diagram move. Area A is called compressions because the particles are closer to each other. Closer to each other. Okay. Compacted. Okay. Area B is called a rarefaction because the particles are spread apart. Okay. Yeah, particles are closer or far apart. Okay. After this, we have question number 16. Chin opens a bottle of liquid perfume. After a few seconds, he can smell the perfume. Some of the liquid perfume evaporates into a gas. The perfume gas then diffuses. What happens to the particles of perfume during diffusion? Tick any of those boxes. Of course, the answer will be the particles spread out from a region of their high concentration to a region of their lower concentration down their concentration gradient in order to be evenly distributed in all of the medium or in all of the available space. Question 17. I could draw the bar chart to show the mean or the average distance of planets from the sun. In the x-axis, this is the planets. In the y-axis, the distance from the sun in large distance unit. A, planet C is the Earth. Okay. What are the names of planets A and B? Of course, B will be Venus and A will be Mercury. Okay, planet A is Mercury, the closest one to us, and B is Venus. Okay, B is Venus. closest one to us, and then Mercury, the one closer to the sun. What planet is between 8 and 12 large distance units from the sun? 8 and 12. 8 and 12, it is the last one, which is F. Okay, it's F, of course. Okay, then how many planets are less than 8.2 large distance units from the sun? 8.2. Okay, I'll just make the annotation to make it easier. Okay, 8.2. This is 8.2. Okay, 1 second. This is 8.2 here. So less than 8.2 are, let's count together. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so I'll close the annotation. Okay, I'll remove it. So we will have 5. The answer is 5. Answer is 5. If you look here, answer is 5. Okay. Now this is the end of the paper number 2, exam 2017, April. Okay. So I will now open the discussion in order to take your questions if you have any. Okay. More. Okay. You are now. Any question?
Hey.
Any question?